Welcome to this explainer of the Goldcrest lesson. Okay, I want you to picture something in your mind for just a second. Imagine this vast, endless ocean. The winds are literally howling, the rain is freezing cold, and there's danger just absolutely everywhere. Now, right smack in the middle of that raging storm, picture a bird. But wait, not some mighty eagle. We're talking about a bird no heavier than a single coin. It's called the Goldcrest, and against all odds, it just keeps flying. It's a pretty epic image, isn't it? But you might be sitting there wondering, what on earth does this tiny, brave bird have to do with your language learning journey? Well, let's dive right into it. Think about it. If a living creature that incredibly small and delicate can face something as massive and terrifying as an ocean storm, then why should a few difficult English words stop you? Seriously. Today, we're looking at this incredible narrative from our source material, and it uses the journey of the Goldcrest as an absolute masterclass in persistence. By the time we wrap up this explainer, we're going to improve your English listening, break down some really crucial phonics and pronunciation concepts, and discover a truly powerful lesson about what it actually takes to master a language. And this really brilliantly illustrates the exact scale of the challenge we're talking about. On one hand, we have the Goldcrest, literally one of the smallest birds in the entire world. I mean, it weighs less than a coin, its wings are incredibly delicate, and its little body is completely fragile. But in stark contrast, look at its environment, the vast ocean. Endless, battered by these incredibly strong winds, and just freezing with cold rain. You know, this is actually the ultimate metaphor for being a language learner. When we first start learning English, you are the Goldcrest. Your vocabulary feels super fragile, and that vast ocean of fluency stretching out ahead of you, yeah, it feels endless and totally overwhelming.
But here's the crazy part. Every single year, this tiny traveler begins a massive journey. It flies across forests, it crosses over huge mountains, and sometimes it heads straight out across the open ocean. And get this, no map and absolutely no guarantee. The bird has no idea what exactly lies ahead. It's just relying on pure instinct and courage. People are constantly wondering how something so incredibly small can survive a challenge that's so unimaginably big. Honestly, it's the exact same question we ask ourselves when we're staring down a huge textbook or trying to keep up with a fast-paced conversation in a new language. So, before the real storm hits, let's equip you with the essential vocabulary tools you're going to need. Let's break these down together. First up, we have fragile, which basically means easily broken or weak. Second is journey, a long trip. Third, instinct. That's a natural ability to do something without even needing to learn it. And fourth, courage, the sheer strength to face fear. Now, I want you to really think about how these apply to you. As our example perfectly puts it, it takes courage to start a difficult journey. And let's be real. You absolutely need that courage before you even take flight into learning a new language.
All right, out over the open water, things change, and they change fast. As the bird flies over the ocean, the physical danger rapidly escalates in three really distinct steps. First, the sky darkens. Second, the winds strengthen. And third, those massive waves start to rise below. The journey becomes incredibly dangerous. At this point, the Goldcrest feels so tired. Its delicate wings are aching, and its fragile body feels impossibly heavy. And you know what? This is exactly what the mental struggle of learning English feels like when you hit that dreaded intermediate plateau. The grammar rules start piling up, the vocabulary becomes super dense, and your brain just aches. We've all been there.
The bird is completely exhausted. But it does not stop. Why? Because out there in that brutal environment, stopping means falling. And falling means failure. Right there, in that critical, absolutely exhausting moment, the smallest bird in the world makes the absolute biggest decision. Keep going. When you feel completely overwhelmed by a language, when the rules just don't make any sense and you literally just want to quit, that is the exact moment you have to make that very same choice. Now, while our little bird is pushing through its physical storm, I want us to push through a practical one. Let's do some pronunciation practice right now. Seriously, wherever you are, repeat these phrases out loud after me. Ready? Strong winds. Really notice that crisp stra sound right at the beginning of strong. Okay, now try small bird. Focus on hitting that clear sma sound in small. And finally, keep going. Make sure going has a nice, smooth ending. Try practicing these a little slowly at first, and then naturally, because it's exactly this kind of active practice that builds up your own linguistic wings.
So the really crucial point here is what happens next as the storm rages on. Something shifts. The bird doesn't just magically become physically stronger. No, it adapts mentally, moving with the wind, not against it. It adjusts those tiny, fragile wings and literally stops fighting the overwhelming force. Instead, it uses that very force to push forward. It doesn't overpower the storm, it figures out how to work within it. And guys, persistence isn't about brute power, it's just about continuing. You don't need perfect grammar or some massive vocabulary right out of the gate. You just need to keep moving with the language instead of fighting against your own mistakes. To truly understand this mental shift, let's level up our vocabulary with some rapid-fire advanced definitions, all centered around mental fortitude. First up on the list is resilience. This is the ability to recover and continue. So when you completely mispronounce a word or maybe fail a test, resilience is the exact thing that gets you right back in your chair the very next day.
Moving right along, next we have adapt. This means to adjust to new conditions. Just like the bird had to adjust its wings to those wild, changing winds, you have to adapt your learning methods. If reading a textbook just isn't working for you, you adapt. You try listening to podcasts or watching explainers just like this one. Then we've got endurance. Simply put, it's the ability to keep going over a really long period of time. We saw the incredible physical endurance of the Goldcrest flying over that vast ocean. But for you, we're talking about mental endurance. It's committing to your studies month after month, even on those days when your progress feels frustratingly slow. And finally, we cap off our advanced vocabulary run with determination, a strong decision to succeed. It's that unstoppable driving force, that incredibly strong decision to succeed in difficult situations, that takes your resilience, your adaptability, and your endurance and combines them into one completely unstoppable mindset.
So what actually happens when you combine all those amazing traits? Well, eventually, maybe after hours or even days, the storm ends. The dark sky finally clears up. And way off in the distance, land appears. The Goldcrest has made it. And here's the kicker. It didn't survive because it was the biggest or the strongest bird in the sky. Not at all. It made it across that endless ocean simply because it completely refused to stop. It literally transformed its fragile wings into an unstoppable journey.
And I think this just brilliantly illustrates the core lessons from our source material today. It perfectly connects the survival of the Goldcrest directly to your own quest for fluency. Let's look at these key takeaways. First, your size, or in your case, your current limitations, absolutely do not define your strength. Second, your current level in English does not define your future potential. And most importantly, progress doesn't come from being some natural genius. Progress comes purely from persistence.
Which actually brings us to the absolute heart of today's explainer. I really want you to let this thought sink in. Fluency is not about being perfect, it's about not giving up. You've got to stop waiting until your grammar is flawless to start speaking. Stop worrying about having a 100% perfect accent. You need to embrace the mistakes because, honestly, every single mistake is just a gust of wind that's pushing you further along your journey.
Okay, so how do we actually put this into action? Well, our source gives us 3 very clear, super practical steps to start improving your English today. Number 1, practice daily. Honestly, even if it's literally just for 5 minutes, it counts. Number 2, focus on pronunciation. Just like we did with our phonics practice a minute ago, clear sounds build your confidence. And number 3, stay consistent. Consistency is your endurance. It is the steady, relentless flapping of wings that eventually gets you across the ocean.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to think about the Goldcrest just one last time. You don't need to be big to achieve big things. Your journey matters so much more than your current size or your current skill level. So I'm going to leave you with this final question to ponder. If the absolutely smallest bird in the world can cross a raging, endless ocean, what can you achieve? Keep moving forward, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next explainer.